Aha, hello there. Your family and friends will fall in love with these decor items created from only two 2x4's and two 2x6's, costing less than $20. If you hit up the Cole Lumber section of your local big box store, you can get the bent and blemished boards 50% off, making all of this for under $10. The printable file in the description is 100% free to use, includes all of the cut diagrams and all of the lettering needed for these projects. These 4 boards will easily fit in your car, and it is one of my favorite armrests. Or you can just dig through that scrap pile you've been saving up and use cutoffs for most of these creations. I pull inspiration from Pinterest and Etsy, and to buy all of these projects would cost $298. However, you would be supporting a fellow craftsman. And if you do not personally sell on Etsy, let me tell you that they have added several steps, like sending a video clip of where you actually will be creating these masterpieces to thin out the swarm of fake resellers. Pretty cool. Today, we are making 2 fall signs, this family pumpkin patch decoration, some gorgeous pumpkins in several varieties, fall-themed books, an acorn, candy corn, even though I still think that it belongs in the future Halloween video. And speaking of Halloween, this Gobble sign is downright haunted. And by haunted, I mean reversible. I mass-produced these items so you will see the progression of the projects as I complete the walkthroughs. I did all of the cutting, then all of the painting, then all of the details. So enjoy the sneak peeks in the background because I did merge them together so that we are making the project start to finish with you guys. That's just not how I actually did it in my shop.
Excluding the acorn, everything in this video can be done with nothing more than a handsaw. After cutting some carbon fiber, my handsaw has become incredibly dull. It's also impossible to cut your fingers off with this model, hence the saw stop. I have an entire video on it, go check it out after this one. During the construction stage of my workbench, I should have scooted my miter saw down another foot so that I had the clearance to cut off the end of an 8-foot board. This is always frustrating. First is the fall signs. Using a 2x4, cut 8 pieces to 3.5 inches so that they are square. All of my projects get a light sanding to the edges. Be careful not to over sand the corners. It's quite easy to do even by hand. Setting them up like dominoes is optional and also not very fulfilling. Story of my freaking life. Another option is to doodle a leaf on a piece of thinner scrap wood. This is a piece of cedar that was from the picket planters. It's a porous wood and it cuts like butter on the bandsaw. Really, it cuts like butter on any saw. I really like butter. I don't think this has ever been shown in a video of mine before. The back of my mobile workbench opens up into a painting booth, so I don't always have to keep cardboard laying around or wasting trash bags or hoping that overspray doesn't get onto my workbench. Spray your signs whatever colors you desire, or pick up the same colors that I am using. Anytime spray paint is on sale for under $2, I usually pick up a can or 2 of each color. Be sure to spray the sides, face, and edges of the boards to get even coverage. Same goes for the stain. I didn't know I would enjoy watching myself put stain on a board so much, but it is satisfying. Same goes for the other fall sign. When I was younger, my dad was always disappointed when I wanted to paint a wood project rather than stain it. I think only once he actually questioned it as to why I would want to paint something instead of staining it, but all the other times you could just see it in his eyes. And now I am kind of the same way. These projects, I tried to incorporate at least one stain or wood element in each so that they kept that woody feel. Again, it is not fall, and it's 103 degrees outside, so I let these bake on top of our trash bin for a little while, just to save some room in the shop.
It's going to be all upside down for you. Oh, fine. Oh my gosh. All right. I do have the printable PDQ that has all of the writing and things on there. These, if you wanted to try to cut them out and stencil them on there, you can do so. These are going to mostly be just for sizing so that I'm not making my letters too big or out of sequence. We will get to that. Otherwise, if you own a stencil kit, that's what I'm going to be using for some of this. So I'm going to have the F, A is that, and then obviously 2 L's. So to get that rocking and rolling, I can't. It's got to face me, guys. I'll turn it around.
Stencil on the letters. I am using a stencil kit I bought for who knows what in the past. You can use the printable file to transfer the letters over. I show you how to do that when we get to the lettering on the books. And no, it does not require the blue transfer paper.
F leaf LL. Perfect. There is that little beauty. I choose to use the liquid nails over the Gorilla Glue one because the Gorilla Glue one is very hard to squeeze out of the tube. It is not toothpaste consistency. It is rock consistency. It's very hard to get out. So one of them, I'd like to experiment here. Do I need clamps? That's the question that we're going to be asking ourselves today. So for this guy, obviously, I'm just not going to use clamps. Perfect. Keep the glue away from the sides because you don't want it to squeeze out. That's going to make it look a little gross when you are done. So just a little bit, just like that. Set time is 30 minutes. I don't think I need clamps. I'm going to try it without clamps. And then if it falls apart, I'll reclamp it with glue.
I stole a paint pen from my wife's craft stuff and colored in the stenciled letters. They turned out a lot better than I had expected, and I know what you're thinking. But Tyler, you said I only needed 2 2x4's and 2 2x6's. You didn't mention the spray paint, the glue, the paint pen, the stain. And I would politely say, my name is Aaron, not Tyler. Oh, look how cute. Next up is the Our Pumpkin Patch sign. Cut 20 inches from your 2x6's for the base and give it a light sanding. Whoa, that might have been too light of a sanding. Grab a 2x4 and cut a 5.5 inch, a 6 inch, a 4 3/4, a 4 inch, and a 3.5 inch piece. Again, more sanding. I have come to terms with the flip carts never being completed. All of the tools are just plugged in on the ground, and I get on the ground to use them each time. It is 2 videos away, people. I gotta get through that shed video because it's taken up 23 gigs on the phone, and then we're gonna finish the flip carts. If you have a benchtop belt sander, it's a lot quicker than using the hand sander to round the corners and kiss the lettering off the wood. Guys, please wear a mask when you are spray painting so you don't inhale the fumes. I may have overlooked this critical safety step prior, but we have corrected it. Spray the little pumpkins as well. I had 2 shades of orange but chose to only use one. Making them different colors might be kind of cool.
Moving on to this guy, I'm going to try not to drop all my little pieces off the tops. So originally I had it so mom and dad were a little bit farther apart, but I do not want to do that. Nay, I do not want to do that. The wife did give me, she with her Cricut printed out some stencils because we are giving this to her brother-in-law. So we're going to make it a little bit better than me handwriting it out, but that's all right. So I'm going to lay these down just so I don't lose them. Ooh. Let's use this side. Honestly, could use another coat of paint. Perfect. And then again, if you do not have the Cricut, which most don't, I don't, it's my wife's, there is the printable Our Pumpkin patch. I would just line it up and then use that as kind of a guide up above to see where the letters go to keep everything in unison as we went apart. It's going to become a Cricut channel, everybody. Be ready. All right. You won't see that for a little while. Now that that is done, I do have these. So my idea is that if I take just some, I'm using aluminum nails because they are a lot easier to bust the little heads off of, because aluminum is very easy to work with, and that's why I'm going to use aluminum. And I'm going to take this little guy, drill him out just like this. Here's what we'll do. I'm going to pilot these guys. I'm not sure if you would just be able to use a little liquid nail or a little bit of super glue and it would hold these in place for you. It very well might. But since it is a gift, I'm not gonna risk it. That was way too freaking far. Dang it. Okay. Well. Now I also need a piece. Look how far I drilled that hole. Don't drill them that deep. And maybe just a tiny little bit around the nail. And then I pop them into here, and I push them down. Yeah, that's the ticket right there. Right there. Whew. Oh, I think I was supposed to reuse that transfer paper. Not a big deal.
Finish the writing on the front, whether it be with vinyl like this or a stencil like the fall sign.
Mom, wow.
The base can say Grandma's Pumpkin Patch or your last name's Pumpkin Patch if you wish to give these as a gift. I very much like seeing the comments about my videos motivating you to head out to the shop and make something unique, but my all-time favorite thing is when my videos not only cover your shirt with sawdust, but inspire you to create something for someone that you care about. Apply a little glue and secure them to the base. I set mine so that they were different angles and different depths on the base to give it more of a pumpkin patchy kind of feel. If you do decide to create a few of these projects, leave a comment, please and thank you. And just look how cute! Next up, the pumpkins. Here we are starting with the 2x4 and cutting 2 4-inch, 2 6-inch, then grab the 2x6 and cut 2 6-inch and 2 8-inch pieces and a 3-inch piece. Choose a color and paint the smaller pumpkin, making sure to cover all edges and sides that will be visible. The bigger pumpkin gets a lighter weathered stain. Again, I'm trying to keep wood elements in today's crafts hour. I had to upgrade to 2 gloves. Usually I only wear 1, but the darker stain on my left hand was getting on this pumpkin.
Pumpkins, same rule applies, some liquid nails. I did make these two from the additional parts that I had with scraps. So they are wet, so they're on a 2x4, but not to fret. That's not a piece of scrap. That's my piece of scrap, not your piece of scrap. So we are just going to glue these guys up. I made a piece of pizza. Guys, please don't leave me, okay? Sorry. And I'm out of paper towels as well. So, good job, microfiber. An expensive towel.
I am pre-drilling to insert a nail to help hold the stem in place.
1. So you can see on him too, he's going to have to get re-spray painted because I didn't spray paint the bottoms of these. I thought they were just going to get glued together. Nay, you do have to spray almost the entire bottom, not really the middle, but you'll hit it with the spray can. So that way it will get all of the paint into the crevices. I'm just going to paint it here in a little bit. No biggie. Pretty close to about a half hour or so. We'll let him get glued and dried.
Finish putting the stems into the tops. You can see one of the 2x4 pumpkins has horizontal lines and the other has vertical lines, just to mix it up a bit. Look at how freaking cute! Moving on to the gray pumpkin, use a 2x4 and cut 8 pieces to 6.5 inches. I use the end of my miter saw fence as a reference point so I do not have to measure each board each time. Set your miter saw to 45 degrees and cut off each corner. I think my miter saw bag is full. Kind of looks like my shirt after I hit the buffet. Satisfying. Set your miter to 15 degrees and cut off 10 inches. Here I cut a shorter piece and ended up adding an additional block under during the glue up. Stain the stem with a darker stain and paint the other blocks. I chose a light gray so that all my pumpkins were not orange. You can use light grays, creams, light browns, black, or white, and it will still look natural in your harvest displays.
One trip. How are we going to tackle this hog? So I added this little chunk of wood so that this would stand up taller, but there's no way for me to delete that chunk of wood. This just needs to be taller, I guess, and that would really take care of the rest of my 2x4 piece, because, well, shoot, if I just replaced it with this piece, it'd be the perfect size, but I didn't do that, so sue me. What am I doing? Oh, this. No. No. Something else to remember, don't get too close to the top because you will be able to see the glue. Scared to move it now because it's I'm not just, he's just gonna be right there. There you go.
Now we are moving on to the books. Using your 2x6, cut 3 pieces to 8 inches for one of the books, and the other gets an 8 1/8 inch, a 7 3/4, and a 9-inch cut. Stain and paint them as I did, or you can find thousands of other things to write on these harvest books on the internet. For whatever reason, these books remind me of Belle from Beauty and the Beast. I think it's because most of the time they wrap string around them, and that's how they carried them in the movie. I don't know.
For the 2 stacks of books, these are the exact same size for all of the books. That is a way to do it. I did experiment a little bit with making them different sizes just to give them, you know, kind of that more just variety book feel. And I really like to put them like this so that, you know, both sides, it looks like a stack of books. It's not, looks like a stack of wood. But with this, you would never be able to stack these vertically because of the gap. So that is up to you guys. I still like them to where they're all the same and they do kind of have that contour. This is probably how I'm going to glue them up, because if I wanted to put the stack in a vertical way, it would look silly if I had them spaced. So I'm going to glue them like this. These get glued like that. The boring stack of books. Subtle. But if you take the printout and you stencil it, right? So you just draw around each letter. It will create, that's the one I just did. It will create an indent that, if you've got okay eyesight, you can follow. And it doesn't do a horrible job. So I'm going to give it a shot. See what I get. So I'm going to take the printout. Oh, Marshmallow, don't let me down. Never let me down in the past. Question is, yeah. It should be centered, right? Yeah. Ooh, I don't have great Sharpie options. They're both kind of dull. I'm afraid when I start writing with the paint pen, it's going to blotch out. We can't do that on this one. Plus, I can start and stop with this. Uh-huh. Uh. Pretty much carbon copy there, bud. They do make that paper you can put under here so you can stencil it on yourself, but push down a little harder. Done.
Scribe and color in the letters using a paint pen or Sharpie. The Sharpie seems to work great on the painted boards, but when using it with the stained boards, it bleeds pretty bad. Possibly because I stained those boards less than 24 hours prior? I'm not sure.
Jump in. Move the trash can over like 3 feet.
So adorable! The candy corns were the simplest and yet my favorite. Using a 2x6, cut a miter to 15 degrees, flip the board over, and cut the bottom to be 3.5 inches so it makes a trapezoid, not a triangle. I cut out 7 pieces total.
We're finished! We're done sanding!
When spray painting these, I found that spraying the orange last made it look the best, which could have been because of my yellow and white having a wider spray angle, or just because of the overlap. Experiment with your specific spray paint to see which order you like, and just to dial in how close you need to hold the can to your project. At first, I was going to tape off each color, but I like the blended look instead of the sharp line for these candy corns, because that's kind of what candy corns look like. Frickin' gorgeous! I should have used that when I had the pumpkins. The acorn is a little something extra as it requires additional tools. Doodle an acorn on a piece of the scrap and cut it out using the bandsaw. I routed a gentle roundover since sanding it would have taken longer with these curved edges. Then I used my Dremel to separate the couple from the nut. This is unnecessary, but I like how it turned out. I use a darker stain for the top and paint the base a color that my wife would like. I found these on Etsy and they were 3 for $12. Honestly, that is not a bad price. Still cute. On to the final project for today's video, the reversible gobble / spooky sign. Cut a 2x4 piece at 11 inches. Using the 2x6, cut out 2 8-inch, 2 7-inch, a 5-inch, and a 4-inch piece. Seriously? Oh, I thought we were done sanding. The darker stain goes around the outside edges. Try not to get too much stain on the board's face so it's easier to spray paint later. Again, grab your paint and add some color. I spray towards the edge to keep any overspray from messing up the stain. Match up the sizes to the colors in my file or create your own. Same goes for the reverse side. I set up my Gobble sign to make sure that I match the right colors to the right sides. Place the paper on top of the board and trace the outline. The pencil will leave an indent that you can follow with the paint pen. Grab a paint pen. The white I only outlined. I will go over the rest with regular paint since the coverage wasn't the best with the pen. Some of the sign is white and some is black. Look at the turkey. Add a little paint to the white to finish it off. Thank you all so much for the support. A simple like and share goes a long way for me. And let me know how your fall haul goes.